Social networking years ago when I grew up used to be the softball league. You'd have 1 or 2 nights a week where you'd go out and play softball with the boys. That was social networking in my day. Farming is different today, even in my lifetime. It's a business. It has to be run like a business. There's days when it gets hectic. Some of the nicest times I feel I enjoy is put a seed in the ground in the spring and it grows to a corn plant, have a calf being born, that miracle where that life started. And that's what I like about what I do, just seeing that happen year after year after year after year.
I love being the farmer's daughter. So I remember years ago, before I was married, I was helping my dad, and I remember calling my dad jokingly and be like, hey Dad, I'd really like a social life too. Like, how much longer do you think we're gonna be working? Now I understand that the farm work can sometimes be isolated. We're in our tractor by ourselves or in the cab by ourselves. But getting out and socializing, working with other people and being with other people is important.
Everybody needs a support system. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. The Aging and Disability Resource Center, we're an agency that is all about caring for other people, helping people identify resources and programs that can help them live an independent life. We have a collaborative partnership with Kewaskum High School in which students, high school students, are teaching older adults how to use smartphones.
I started farming on my own in the late 70s, and money was very easily to come by, and I didn't have the experience, borrowed too much money too fast. At that time, the values of the commodities the farmers were selling dropped dramatically, while I was flipped on my mortgage with my farm. And it's just when we got married. Once you're down and out and flat, there's only one way to go. I wasn't the only one that time that was in that same predicament. There were other farmers I was talking with or talking to. We would share the different ideas. What are we going to do? How are we going to come out of this? You know, we're either going to sink or rise together, if you want to call that your support group. Yeah, you shared the ideas. I fortunately managed to pull myself through it and, you know, got to where we are today. Tend to stay active as long as I can.
We get referrals coming into our agency that are neighbors reaching out, maybe concerned about somebody they live by, or other agencies that have interacted with people that know that our agency can provide them with some assistance. So I think just by nature of what we do, we see that love your neighbor and compassion in action on a very regular basis.
Right now, with immediate family, grandchildren, I'm hoping that this legacy that my wife and I started will continue for years to come.
Growing up on a farm is probably the best thing that ever happened. Both my parents were born and raised on farms. I think it was when I was in kindergarten, I told my teacher that I now know how to read and count numbers. I don't need any more school, I just want to go back and farm. And that's my livelihood now today. I've had a true passion for this since I was a young boy and continue to have that passion for agriculture today. And I think it's important, you know, I mean, we get caught up in the social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff all the time. But there still is something to say about face-to-face contact, being amongst people, having a support group around you that if you do have an issue, you can go and talk to somebody, or surround yourself with those positive people that are going to make you a better person in the long run, I think has a lot of merit to it.
Staying connected, having other people that you can talk with, whether it be through technology or in a in-person social session, is extremely beneficial for people's mental health. It decreases depression, and it also decreases lots of physical ailments that people might be experiencing as well.
It's good to have a community, have places to get together. That's good, and that's what people need. And get to know what your neighbors are doing, what their aspects are in life, what's happening with their jobs, what's happening with their families. Getting together with groups like that is still important. You need to communicate with people.
If we've learned anything in the past few years, it's the challenges of adversity and loneliness. Here in Washington County, we've gotten through it together as a community. Civic groups, churches, nonprofit organizations, we come together to love one another and to get through the hard times. Come here to learn more.